80 acres here is a unique and special property in this whole town and this whole area. It was an old farm, 1,400 acres, but on this 80 acres, this is probably the best of all the land that's here. It gently rolls, you have beautiful lawns and mowed fields and whiteboard fences and incredible buildings that were part of the original 1904 estate here. This was bought as a gentleman's farm. It was first acquired about 1900. Edmund Converse came from Boston and he found this and he just fell in love with this property. So he was able to buy 1,000 acres of farmland when nobody was thinking about things like that. It is the largest of the great estates, so-called, of Greenwich. Those are buildings which were built up to 1940. The main house was up the hill from this, and that was an enormous house that's no longer there. And it had stables and it had obviously carriage horses at the time. The living room in this house is the old carriage barn. And that's where we're sitting, and then you have a wonderful library, and then a couple of guest houses, and beautiful pool house, plus a beautiful stable. The property's on the market at $65 million. Some of the properties here are selling for more per acre than this, but no one has 80 acres, so it's very hard to compare it. And you know, with the open fields and the horses, it really is a breathtaking spot. It's a very sophisticated and understated house. The architect who originally took it on, Alan Wanzenberg, was brilliant. Whatever's been added on, you really can't tell, and everything in it was done. I mean, the entire thing was completely done. And this owner, 10 years ago, did a complete revamp of all the bathrooms and kitchens that are right up to date in the latest style. One of the really neat factors of this house is the current owner loves summer and loves warm weather. So he added on a beautiful glass solarium room off the kitchen where he eats breakfast every day. And it's got palm trees going right up to the roof. You look out, feel a sense of warmth and friendliness. It's absolutely marvelous room. The Polo Grounds, which is the 60-acre polo field, it's got 2 main polo fields and then practice fields, bleachers that you get to watch the polo games, and stables. The person who built this house into the estate that it is was a great polo player, and he loved it. So you've got a lot going on here. We call it the ruins, because that's exactly what it is. It's stone foundation for an enormous barn that I believe used to have 120 cows in it. And over time that was abandoned and the roof fell in, and the prior owner decided to create it into a party venue. And there's nothing like this. It really is an incredible space. And then you have the office, which is very close to the main house, which was a guest house before, and the current owners have gutted it and took it right up to the rafters and made an entirely mahogany building, but completely private and completely quiet. The feel of this property is something that takes you right back to 1900. And when you drive out the back driveway, it's just a beautiful open fields. And it just gives you a sense of really bucolic countryside, but it's just 42 minutes from New York. And that is something very special.